Yes, Mr. Malloy.
As the court, please, my lord, we confirm appearances on behalf of the state.
Okay.
As the court pleases, my lord, I confirm my appearance on behalf of Mr. Ntanzi. However, my lord, Mr. Ntanzi and the rest are not before court yet, my lord.
Oh, you're still not here?
Yes.
They're still being processed.
Oh, okay, okay.
Just downstairs.
All right.
As it is the court, my lord, I confirm my appearance on behalf of Mr. Sibiya and Mr. Mni.
Yes, thanks.
As it pleases the court, my lord, I confirm my appearance on behalf of accused number 4, Mr. Mapisa, and standing in for my colleague, Advocate Mshololo,
Okay.
in respect of accused number 5, Mr. Nduli. Thank you.
All right. Brigadier, you didn't tell me how you fared in your exams. Yes. Or you want to whisper to me? Fine, no problem.
Yes, I will whisper to you.
Okay.
I'm also interested, my lord.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'll whisper to him as well, man.
Okay.
After you.
When we were still at the college, varsity, there used to be a professor, a guy called Professor Green. He used to teach us English. The first day he got into our class, I think we were about 165, somewhere there. He looked at us and said, we must start counting ourselves. So somebody said one, right up to 165. Then he says, it was January. He says, by April, half of you shall have dropped off. Now we look at him. Then he says, after April, September, when you come with a DPs, half of you will also have dropped out. And when you write exams, half of the guys who are sitting will drop out. You'll have to do agro-tests. And it happened like that.
Yeah.
They used to control results during our time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to control results. So this guy says, you must choose which group you want to fall into. Yeah.
Yes. Very interesting.
As my lord, we were told, I think there was one professor there, he said, LLB I think was 4 years or whatever. He said, LLB is a 4-year course, but some of you in the 5th year, you will understand the concept. So it relates also to that, my lord, to say.
Not quite.
Yeah, the results were quite, I think, manufactured.
Yeah, at Forte they used mainly Roman law and
Yes.
Latin.
Yes.
You remember, if you don't pass Latin 1, you can't do Roman law 1 and 2.
And Afrikaans as well.
That's
was
it. So-
mandatory. Yeah.
You had to cram Latin.
The doctor here is a marker. He says he's very strict in marking.
Is that so? Okay. As long as there's no pass on, pass on.
All the accused are now here, my lord.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Ramsepil is busy with processing.
Yes. Ramusipili.
Thank you, my lord. Morning, Brigadier.
Morning, sir.
Now, yesterday when we adjourned, I had just asked you a question to which you responded that in the description to warrant officer Steenkamp, the witnesses that were in the house, and some of them, because I do believe that Mthokozisi Twala consulted with me, warrant officer Steenkamp much later. But those that consulted with warrant officer Steenkamp on the 29th, they did not give the description of suspect B. And your answer was that it's correct. However, in their statements, they do mention some descriptions. That's where we ended, you remember?
Bathi-ke izolo ngesikhathi sicedela-ke inkulumo yana ngaphambi kwenkantolo bayofakazi bakho-ke kade besikhuluma khona-ke ngodaba lokuthi-ke istatement sakamnumzana uMthokozisi Twala sathathwa ngemuva kwesikhathi-ke eside-ke lapho-ke ngemuva kokuthi sele ezinye izitatimende zabanye kufakazi selethathiwe-ke lapho-ke futhi bathi iningi labantu kade bekhona-ke ngaphakathi-ke lapho kulo modlana-ke abakaze bakhulume ngokujulile noma bakhulume ngesikhangiso-ke somlisi othizeni noma isigebengu sesibili akusenjalo.
That is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo.
And in the descriptions that they gave, the people that were in the house, they gave the description of the second suspect as the following. He was much taller than the first intruder. He was wearing a hoodie. He was dark in complexion.
Bathi-ke abantu ade bekhona-ke lapha ngaphakathi kulo muzi loyana-ke bakhuluma mayelana nesigebengu sesibili noma isigilamkhuba sesibili ukuthi mayelana nesikhangiso sakhe wathi kade kuwumuntu omude kunalona kade engeneqala futhi bathi bagqoke ihudi kena-ke futhi enebala elimnyama.
Yes, that although I can't recall vividly, my lord, as to how it's outlined, it's lined up, but yes, to that effect, that is a description of the second suspect in terms of the description, my lord.
Athi yebo khona-ke kunjalo nanoma engasakhumbuli ngokujulile ukuthi kahle kahle baqala basho yiphi-ke inkulumo ukuthi ngabe umuntu omude noma umuntu ogqoke ihudi noma umuntu omnyama ngokwebala.
And from their description in their statements, especially the initial statements of the 29th, or even supplementary statements that they made thereafter, did they make any specific or provide specific features or characteristics like the O-type beard, the soul patch, and golden teeth?
Bathi-ke kule statement zabo zokuqala-ke abazenza ngelanga lange-29 zaka-October ngonyaka 2014, uma ngabe umele ebuza ukuthi ngabe mhlambe bakhuluma ngokujulile mayelana nesikhangiso somuntu noma mayelana nendlela umuntu wesibili kade ajangakala ngayo-ke le wathi kade nentshebeke kena-ke elawundi-ke futhi enolokhuzana enezinyo legolide-ke bese futhi abenelentshebe bathi uswayini kena.
No, my lord, I can't remember specifically because these witnesses made various statements. The first statement that they made, it's on the 27th actually of October. Subsequent to that, 2014, subsequent to that, then there were others who made a supplementary affidavit. So for me, to be precise, one will have to go through all those statements, to see exactly if they have not changed the initial description or not, my lord.
Athi lapho ke akanako ukukhumbula ngokugcwele futhi nawo kweqiniso ke lapho ke athi kepha ke abantu abayitatimende zokuqala ke bazenza ngelanga lange-27 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014 athi uma ngaba ke umail efisa ukuthi atholeke incazelo eqondile noma impendulo eqondile ke mayelana nodaba umbuzo lo kade ubuza kuzokuthi ahambe abheke kuma statement wonkana mhlawumbe bakhuluma ngalolu daba lolo noma abakazi bakhulume ngalo.
And now my suggestion will be the description given in their statements of taller than the first intruder, dark in complexion, and wearing a hoodie is a generic description. It can apply to many individuals.
Athi ke malana nendlela bamtshela abamkhuluma ngayo kulomuntu wesibili mhlawumbe isigila mkhuba sesibili sangena phakathi kwalomuzi lana ke ukuthi kade bekhuluma nje nanoma kodwa bekhuluma ngesikhangiso somuntu nanoma ubani ke lapho ke la bathi kade khona ke umuntu khona ke emude nanoma khona lo oqala kade angenile ngaphakathi kulela khaya futhi egqoke ihoodie ke yena ke futhi anombala ke omnyama ukumbala wakhe osebusweni.
My lord, that is correct. It is a generic statement. However, you need to take the description into the context of what is happening. Then the situation changes. Because in general, if you're talking about that description, for example, in the middle of the city, it is general because the likelihood there will be a number of people perhaps wearing a hoodie, particularly today since it's cold. But if you now take that description to the crime scene, it is specific because there's no other description or evidence that we've obtained that describe another person wearing a hoodie. So there is only one individual that is described as wearing a hoodie, including the witnesses. None of them were wearing a hoodie. So then it becomes unique if you take it in that context.
Athi yebo uma ngabe sokhuluma nje ngokuthi mhlawumbe into lejwayelekile nanoma ubani angaqoka ke hoodie ke nake athi vele ngase sikhuluma ngelanga la namuhla ke ngoba vele kumakhaza ke ukuthi baningi abantu abugqoke ke ihoodie kepha athi uma sehlela ke emuva ngelanga leli sigameko ke la kwenza khona ke sigameko bonkana abufakazi kade bekhona ngaphakathi kulela khaya lelana ke athi bakhuluma ngendlela efanayo noma mhlawumbe basho ke inkulumo efanayo uma bechaza ke lesigele umkhuba sesibili sangena phakathi kwalela khaya lena ukuthi kade ligqokeke kade sigqokeke ihoodie kusona ke futhi amude kunalona lesigele umkhuba lesoqala sangena ngaphakathi futhi anebala elimnyama kuyena ke lapho ke athi futhi uma ejobela inkulumo yakhe ukuthi ke bonkana abofakazi kade bekhona ngaphakathi lela khaya ngelanga lesigameko kade bengagqokile kamahoodie.
But furthermore, my lord, so with that description, sorry, Mr. Ramsipeli, if now you take that description, and I won't go into details, you take that description, you then marry it to the investigation and subsequent the evidence that was obtained against number 2, my lord. The picture then changes completely because then it shows that the evidence points to suspect B and suspect B in terms of the investigation points to accused number 2, my lord.
Athi yebo ke uma ejula futhi ngazila ke athi uma ngabe kade bebona sebeqala bephenya ke icala lapho ke malana nesikhangiso noma malana nendlela kade bemchaze ngayo ke noma bamkhuluma ngayo lesigila mkhuba sesibili ke lapho ke athi uma kade besenza ukuphenya kwecala malana nesigila mkhuba lesesibili ke lapho ke athi bonkana ufakazi bebutholile ibona ufakazi lobo obabaletha kumsola wesibili.
I understand your explanation, Brigadier, but my question was simple. In their statements, I understand that you want to marry to the background and what you now know, but in their statements, that is a generic description that somebody is tall, somebody is dark, and somebody had a hoodie. If the police go on that and say, go and look for somebody tall, dark, wearing a hoodie, at that time on the 26th, they could have picked up 10, 20 people.
Athi uyayizwa ke impendulo lapho ke babrigadier Gininda kepha ke umuzo ke kade ujulile wona ke futhi kade unciphile nje athi bekakubuza phicelezi nodaba lwe-26 zaka October ngomnyaka ka-2014 athi uma ngabe kade bekhuluma ukuthi esigila mkhuba sesibili sangena phakathi lakhaya lana ke ukuthi umuntu omude ngokomzimba ke lapho ke futhi ngaqoka ihoodie kuyena futhi anebala elimnyama ke athi uma ngabe abofakazi baqoqela amaphoyisa ke lo daba lolo ke bese amaphoyisa bayaphuma bayahamba bagcinana nalo nalesigila mkhuba ke lapho ke athi amaphoyisa bengakhona kathi mhlawumbe igcine sebabopha ke abantu abayishumi noma abayishumi nambili akusenjalo yini?
No, I disagree, my lord. If you take because you need to take this into context. The description is given indeed for the 26th of October 2014, and the time is indicated. And it is very specific where this tall, dark individual with a hoodie went into. He went to the Kumalo's house. Subsequently, there was a shooting, and people then ran out. Now, if police follow that lead, there is no way they will arrest the wrong person, because there is no evidence in this docket that during that commotion, there were more than one person wearing a hoodie and others were innocent persons. There's only one individual, which is suspect B, that was wearing a hoodie. So there couldn't be a mistake that will arrest wrong people. You'll either not find people or arrest the right person, my lord.
Athi cha kahambisane ke nenkulumo kaMeli ke lapho ke athi kepha ke uma ngabe sesibuka ke udaba lo lapha ke madana udaba lolu singala ngaphambi kwinkosi inkantolo ke athi isigameko senzeka ngelanga la nge-26 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014 athi futhi isigameko senzeka ngaphakathi kwekhaya la kwaKhumalo ke lapho ke athi futhi bonkana abantu ode bekhona ngaphakathi kwala khaya la kwaKhumalo ke yibona abakhuluma ngokuthi lo mlisa wesibili ke nomhlanje isigilamkhuba sesibili ke yisona esangena phakathi kwaleli khaya la sigqoke ke ihoodie kusona ke futhi katamude ngakatamude ngokomzimba wakhe futhi anebala elimnyama ngokwesikhangiso sakhe salana ke ebusweni ke noma indlela kade ajakala ngayo ke lapho ke athi kepha ke khumula khona nje athi uma ngabe uthiwe nake lapha futhi abakaze basho ukuthi kwangena ke abantu ababili noma abathathu ake egqoke ke ingubo eyodwa ke kade kuyihoodie ke leyo ke futhi emude umuntu akhona noma mhlawumbe ibe bade abantu bakhona ke athi kungakho ela esale emuva lenkulumo eyaqhamuka kubufakazi akade bekhona ke kulela khaya la kwaKhumalo.
Brigadier, it's a point that I'm not going to have a tete-a-tete with you. This is a point that I'll argue at the end of the whole case, should we arrive there to say this was a general or a generic description. It could have matched 1 million, 2 million, 3 million people by saying somebody is tall, dark, wearing a hoodie, but I'll leave it at that.
Athi kommeli ngakaphinda bese ethathela ke emahlombe ke lo daba lenkulumo lena ke uBrigadier Bigginda bakhuluma ngabe kaphendula kulona ke athi yena ke lento into ejwayelekile athi bangathola ukuthi mhlawumbe ngelanga leli khona abantu abawu million abawu 1 million mhlawumbe 2 million abade begqokike ingubo eyodwa ke futhi ade bebade futhi banye balemnyama athi manje sakazoyiletha ke uma ngabe sebaphikisana mhlawumbe ithimba labashushisi futhi nohlangothi labameli.
Now, and I'm still talking about the statements of the witnesses in the house. That's where we ended up yesterday. And in their statements, did they mention a specific color of the hoodie, the witnesses that were in the house?
Athi sasekulona ke lo daba ke lobufakazi abakade bakhona ngaphakathi kwaleyo muzo kaKhumalo. Manje umbuzo ukuthi ngabe abofakazi bakhuluma phecelezi nodaba lombala wehoodie uthi hoodie kade ikuhoodie yombala onjani.
As a court case, my lord, we don't mean to interfere with my learned friend's cross-examination, but what is the point of focusing on what the witnesses have said when they were here in court, they've testified, and they were cross-examined on the contents of their statement? Now, what is the point of asking Brigadier Gininda to comment on their statements when they have already testified? We submit, my lord, that it's unfair to ask Brigadier Gininda on the details of those statements when they've already testified. This is a point that can be taken up by my learned friend, as is correctly pointed out in argument, my lord.
As the court pleases, my lord, you see, I'm not sure even the basis of the objection. Hence, I've said there are certain pillars of objection that I'm irrelevant, I'm repetitive, I'm badgering the witness. I don't know what the basis of this objection is. But simply, my lord, when I asked Brigadier Gininda whether the witnesses in the house provided or furnished warrant officer Steenkamp with a description of suspect B, he said, I'll answer it in two parts. On the main, no. But in their statements, they did say the description. Now, this leads me to this.
Well, my learned friend has asked us what is the pillar of our objection. It's an unfair question. It's an unfair question in the sense that the witnesses have testified, they've given their version, they were cross-examined. Now, what is the point of asking Brigadier Gininda to comment on their statement. We submit that, and if my learned friend wants a pillar, we're saying it's an unfair question to the witness.
Okay.
Brigadier Gininda, if you can answer, you can say, I cannot comment because I did not make those statements. You can answer for yourself, you've got a mouth. Can you comment on what I've put to you?
Athi ummeli uma ngaba uyakhona ukuthi uphendule manje nombuzo kade ubuzile ungakhona ukuthi uphenduleke mangabe unayo impendulo.
No, my lord, I didn't make those statements. Okay. All I can comment about is the investigation. But to comment as to what the person said, as I've said, my lord, one will have to go through those statements with, as there are more than one statements to really recall what people have said. But I was not the author, neither the commissioner of oath when those statements were taken. So I can only comment on the investigation, and if I have to be specific in terms of what is contained in their statements, one then will have to refresh his memory by going through those statements, my lord.
Athi cha ngakakhoneke ukuphendula ngoba kade kungasuye bekabhala ke-statement zabo ufakazi futhi athi ade angekho ngesikhathi athi commissioner kama statement abo ufakazi athi uma ngaba bangavuma ukuthi angene kuma statement bese futhi awafundeke futhi ekuthizeni abuyise kumcabango wakhe athi kula ngakhona ukuthi aphendule khona.
I can, however, my lord, assist on Exhibit J, Warrant Officer Steenkamp, because we dealt with it and it's still fresh in my memory, and I can agree in that exhibit that the description of the hoodie is not given by the people who were inside the house in terms of the color, but is given rather by Makaleni, because they didn't describe suspect B. So that is the closest I can describe the color of the hoodie, and the color is described as black, my lord.
Athi ke futhi uma ngaba angaphinda futhi abuya lekelele inkosi enkantolo ke lapho kade khona ke udaba lemibukiso engaphansi ku Exhibit J athi uma engacaphula phakathi kwenkulumo kade ibhala lapho ke Warrant Officer Steenkamp phecelezi nodaba lombuzo lelo ummeli adalibuza ke malana nengubo umbala wengubo kade ugqokiwe lapho ke lesiglamkhuba ke sesibili ke lapho ke athi bonkana abantu kade bekhona ke ngaphakathi kwalela khaya labakaze bakhulume ngombala wengubo ukuthi kade ingubo khona noma ihudi la khona ke kade le nombala muphi ke kulona ke athi kepha ke umuntu owakhuluma ke ngombala wehudi kade kunomzana uMakeleni kepha ke umbala awukhulumile noma mhlawumbe umbala wehudi awukhuluma amaphoyiseni ke kade kumbala ke umnyama.
Now let's move to a different aspect, Brigadier. Did you, in the course of your investigations, interview any of the witnesses that were in the house who stated something like this, that now that the event happened a long time ago, I am unsure as to whether or not I can still identify the suspects that entered the house?
Bathi ngesikhathi bophenya ke icala kho lele ngabe mhlawumbe khona ke lawahlala phansi kwabese ukukhulumisana amathupha ke nabantu nabofakazi abakade bekhona ke ngaphakathi kwala khalena babuza ngala nesikhangiso ke salesiglamkhuba sesibili ke noma ubabuza ngemuva noma babuza ukuthi manje ngoba sele kungemuva kwesikhathi isigameko lesenzekile ngabe bangakhona yini ekuthizeni basho isikhangiso sesiglamkhuba sesibili.
Yes, my recollection, my lord, it will be Mr. Mthokozi Sithwala and Tumelo Madlala.
Athi yebo ke ngokukhumbula kwakhe ke abantu ababili ke lapho ke uTumelo Madlala futhi noMthokozi Sithwala.
Thank you, Brigadier. Now, with respect to Tumelo Madlala, do you recall when you interviewed him and what he expressed to you about the certainty or uncertainty of identifying the suspects in future should he see them?
Bathi ke mana nodaba lwaTumelo Madlala ke ngesikhathi bokhuluma naye ngabe mhlawumbe bombuza ukuthi angakhona yini ethizeni abakhombeke iglamkhuba lezi ezazingene ngaphakathi kwelakhalela noma ngabe angaze ayibone.
No, my lord, I will not recall exactly what he said, but what I do recall, it didn't say he can't identify the person. He was not sure because of the time. At some stage, I'm just not sure whether it's him or it's Mr. Twala. They said it's 50-50. So it wasn't a denial that they can, but there was also no admission that 100% we can because of the time. So they were like in the middle, saying we are not really sure because of the time that has lapsed, my lord.
Athi yebo kepha kanaso isiqiniseko ukuthi ngabe mhlambi ke uTumelo Madlala ke noma uMthokozi Sithwala wakhuluma ke lapho ke kanjalo ke athi kepha ke ngesikhathi bekhulumisana nabo ke bona bathi bami phakathi nendawo ke bangakhona ukuthi bamkhombe bese bangakhona ukuthi bayikhombeke ligila mkhulu.
Hence I'm saying, Brigadier, I didn't say that they didn't say they cannot. I said the uncertainty. Uncertainty embraces both sides of the spectrum. I may and may not. I'm unsure. That's the uncertainty. And specifically, Brigadier, I don't want to waste time. If you've got 8216 in front of you, that's the statement that you took, and it relates to, on this aspect, to Tumelo Madlala.
Yes, I do recall, my lord, that I took a statement from him.
But
I want you to have it and read it because I want to introduce it as an exhibit here in court. That will be a statement that was taken on the
What is the index number 2?
sorry, Brigadier, A216. Because let me approach my lord. May I approach my?
Yes.
Do you have it in front of you, Brigadier?
I just, what is
it
the
was
index
taken
number?
down on the 20th, sorry, Brigadier, the 5th November 2020 at 1918 by yourself.
But what is the index number?
I said it's A216, Brigadier.
216, no. My lord, can I ask maybe the state advocate to assist me, maybe with a copy of 216, because I seem to be struggling.
My lord, perhaps whilst, because I'll introduce it into evidence anyway, it's a shortish statement. Unfortunately, the Brigadier writes like a medical professor, so it's going to be difficult for me to read his handwriting. If I can give him my statement, it's only highlighted, there are no notes. He can read from it, then we'll
Yes.
make copies for the court and ask for it to be admitted as an exhibit.
So it reads as follows, my lord. I, the undersigned, Tumelo Brian Madlala, states further that on Sunday, the 25th of October 2020, I received a call. No, let me finish and read. I'll give it to you. Yeah. I received a call from Colonel Geninda during the course of the day. The colonel informed me that there are suspects that they have identified, and then said on the said case of the death of Senzo Meyiwa, I was informed that the suspects in question are suspected to be involved in the said murder of Senzo Meyiwa. The colonel asked me if I will be able to identify any of the suspects I saw when the offense took place in October 2014. I informed the colonel that this incident took place a long time ago and I am not sure if I will be able to identify them. I indicated to him that I am not sure, in bracket 50-50, my lord. And then the next paragraph, it's a sworn, basically. I know and understand the contents of this statement. I have no objection of the taking of the prescribed oath. I consider the prescribed oath to be binding on my conscience. It is signed, my lord, by Mr. Madlala on the 5th of November 2020 and commissioned by me on the same day, my lord, 1918, my lord.
Mazathi afunda kufakazi mayelana nodaba lenkulumo statement asithatha ke lapho kuTumelo Madlala ke uTumelo Brian Madlala ke inkulumo ayikhuluma leli ngaphansi lena ke ngaphansi kwesifungo ke athi ngesonto ngelanga la nge-25 zaka-October ngomnyaka ka-2020 yena ke wathola ucingo liqhamuka lapho ke ku-Colonel Geninda ngesikhathi bebakhuluma ke lapho ocingweni bese ngelanga lelo ke uKenneth lapho wamtshela ukuthi lapho ke ucela ahlangane naye noma ucela ukuthi wamtshela ukuthi khona ke abasola abatholile lapho ke ethola ukuthi mhlambe banesandla ke lapho ke ekucala lelo kushona kukamufi ke lapho kusenzo Meyiwa ke lapho ke athena ke wamtshela ukuthi abasola bayatholakala ukuthi mhlambe banesandla ke noma banegalelo ke ekushonini kukasenzo Meyiwa kulecala leli bese lapho uKenneth
It's the Kennel asked me.
athi lapho uKenneth wambuza ke ukuthi engabe mhlambe angakhona ukusiza ekuthizeni ke abakhombeka abantu labo ke uma angabuya futhi ababone futhi abantu ade bengene ngaphakathi kwelela khaya ngelanga lesigameko ngenyanga kaOctober ngomnyaka ka2014 bese na yena ke watshela uKenneth ngicamana necala lokushona kukamufi lenzeka lapho ke athena ke icala lenzeka ngemuva kwesikhathi eside kakhulu angeke abe naso isiqiniseko ngokugcwele ekuthizeni abakhombeke abantu labo uma engabuya ababone futhi usho ukuthi yena kade emiphakathi nendawo 50% ukuthi abakhombe futhi 50% ukuthi angabakhombi ngemuva ukuthi isigameko lesi selesenzeka ngemuva kwesikhathi esiningi esindlule lapho ke usathatha isifungo sakhe ke wafunga ngaphansi kwamaphoyisa ngesikhathi bathatha istatement lesike athi istatement basithatha ke lapho ke ngelanga lange5 zakaNovember ngomnyaka 2020 isikhathi kade kuyimizuzu e18 ngemuva kwehora lesikhombisa ebusuku namantambama ke bese lapho kuKenneth naye ke brigadier Kenneth naye lapho ke wakomishina istatement lesike ngalo lelo langa lange5 zakaNovember ngomnyaka ka2020 ke ngesikhathi imizuzu e18 ngemuva kwehora lesikhombisa.
And Brigadier, in fact, at the time that statement was made and commissioned, you correct me if I'm wrong, all the 5 gentlemen that are accused of these offenses were already in custody, correct?
Athi uzomlungisa ke uma ngaba engaqinisileke athi ngesikhathi lesi statement besithathwa ke lapho ke ngenyanga kaNovember ke bonkana abasola labo bahlanu ke bebavele beboshiwe.
Correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo.
And in fact, 2 days later, they appeared for the first time at the Boksburg Magistrates Court on their first appearance, correct?
Athi ke ummeli bese ngemuva kwamalanga amabili ke lapho ke baqhamuka ngaphambi kwenkosi yenkantolo yaseBoksburg mayana icala leli bakade bethosa lona kusenjalo yini?
Yes, my lord, on the 27th of October 2020.
Athi yebo kunjalo ngetilanga la nge27 zakaOctober ngomnyaka ka2020.
Now, Brigadier, let me briefly move over again to a different aspect. I did touch on it the last time, but I just want to finalize it, and then I'll be done with my cross of you. This aspect relates to the following. There was no identity parade held in respect of the 5 gentlemen sitting and standing here before court, correct?
Athi lapho ke uma ngabe khuluma futhi olunyeke udaba ukuthi anekaze nenze identification parade la kade ukukhonjwa khona ke abasola bonkana abaqhamuka ngaphambi kwenkosi yenkantolo ke ngabe akusiqiniso lelo?
Yes, it was not done, my lord.
Athi yebo ayikaze yenziwe.
And the last time when we went over this point, you'll correct me if I'm paraphrasing you correctly. You stated that one of the reasons was that already they had been to a previous identity parade involving the arrest of the first suspect in this matter, Mr. Mbata, and for that reason, you saw no necessity of holding another ID parade. Am I paraphrasing you correctly, or you can state how you put that answer?
Athi ke uma engacaphule kahle ke kunkulumo oyikhuluma ubuyeke umlungiseke lapho ke athi wena ke uthi wathi abofakazi sele bahamba baya ekwenza lokhomba ukuthi identification parade ke leyo ke la abafika abakhomba khona ke umnumzana uMbatha bese wathi na kungakho lesikhathi lesi ungabasile ekuthizeni bahambe bayokhomba abasula laba baqhamuka ngaphambi kwenkosi yenkantolo ke athi uma ngabe engakhulumile iqiniso umlungisi.
No, my lord, my recollection, and that played a very critical role. I've indicated that it was a prosecutorial-driven investigations. So you get guided as people aligned in terms of the course of investigations. And I think when I referred to the previous the first ID parade, it was in relation, in my recollection, my lord, it was in relation to Mrs. Khumalo Senior in terms of her and people who went to identify the wrong person. It was in that context, but in essence, the investigation was prosecutorial driven. And I indicated, obviously, insofar as my interview I had with these two witnesses, Mr. Madlala and Tumelo Madlala and Mr. Mtokosi Sithwala, in terms of what they said, in terms of the identification, my lord, at the time.
Athi-ke lapho-ke icala ke liseshwa-ke ibona-ke futhi ithimba labashushisi futhi kade bekhulumisana-ke lapho-ke athi lokhu akukhumbulayo kepha-ke ngibona-ke isinqumo kade siqhamuka kwithimba labashushisi-ke ekuthizeni kumele benze ini nokuthi kumele bangenzi ini-ke lapho-ke athi khumbula khona njalo ukuthi lapho-ke umuntu oqala kade ehambile lapho-ke noma udaba lolu-ke nokukhomba-ke abantu lapho kade lisenziwa-ke uMiss Khumalo-ke usiniya ukuthi umama omdala lapho kwaKhumalo-ke uyena owahamba wakhomba-ke lapho-ke lo msolo oqala kade eboshiwe phecelezi udaba lucala leli-ke lapho-ke athi kepha-ke uma ebuka udaba lama-statement i-statement sakaTumelo Madlala-ke futhi uMthokozi Sithwala-ke athi isona lesi ade ekhuluma ngaso-ke mayelana ngesikhathi uyaphendula-ke lo mbuzo loyo.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, the specific circumstances or that led you not to hold, because it's prosecutorial driven investigation, the prosecutors that you were conferring with told you not to hold, conduct an ID parade. Is that how I should understand you to be saying?
Athi ngabe uzwa kahle-ke uma ngabe uthwena-ke kade icala liseshwa-ke yinina futhi nisebenzisana nethimba labashushisi-ke la abakade ukhulume ngabo-ke kuqala-ke manje usho ukuthi abashushisi ibona abacela ukuthi misa kancane ungayenzi i-identification parade noma?
No, my lord, when you work with prosecution, and that's my experience, most of the time when they give you guidance is for the purpose of them preparing the prosecution. So if they push you to that direction or direct you to go to a certain direction, it does not mean that the other party that are blocking you from it. It's a strategy that they're adopting. They give guidance, we follow it. Hence I said, on our part, I was able to interview the two witnesses and the statement speaks for themselves. But in the guidance, I can't speak to them to say, this is it, they didn't want us to do it. There's a reason in terms of how they execute their job insofar as I understand, my lord, but I can't speak on their behalf.
Athi-ke lapho-ke akazi angekho asho ngokugcwele ukuthi lapho-ke ibona abamthetha angakwenzi lokho noma kepha-ke akhumbule khona nje ngesikhathi basenza-ke basesha icala leli-ke athi kade sebenzisana-ke nethimba labashushisi-ke athi isikhathi nesikhathi bakhulumisana futhi ibona kade bemupha-ke ezeluleko noma i-guidance ukuthi kumele asebenze kanjani lecala leli-ke nokuthi yini ekumele ukuthi ayenze ukuthi yini engamele ayenzeke athi abantu abangaba sesimeni esikahle ukuphendula phecelezi nodaba lombuzo lo kade kubuzwa-ke athi yilona-ke ithimba noma ihhovisi labashushisi.
Let me ask it differently. You as the lead investigator, was the holding of an ID parade in respect of the 5 gentlemen before the court ever a consideration?
Athi-ke takubuza lo buzo le ndlela elandelayo. Njengoba kade kuwena-ke bohola-ke ithimba labaseshi becala, ngabe wena-ke wacabanga ukuthi kumele nibaye lapho-ke bokwenza identification parade phecelezi noma mayelana nodaba lwabasola bonkana?
Not the 5 gentlemen, my lord, because you do an ID parade in relation to the crime scene, so you don't do it in isolation. If you have 5 accused and you have witnesses saying we saw 5 accused, then your consideration will be responding to your preliminary investigation. What we have on the crime scene is that 2 suspects, Suspect A and Suspect B, were seen going into the house, and the statement speaks for themselves. So the consideration that would have went into my mind is insofar as the 2 suspects that went into the house, not 5, because it is clear from the description and the statements obtained that reference is made only to 2 and not 5. And then subsequent to that, investigation clearly indicated what role each suspect, accused, that is added on this matter played, and no such investigation suggests that all 5 were inside the house, my lord. So the consideration at the time was insofar as the 2 suspects that we suspected that they may have went into the house, my lord.
Athi-ke lapho-ke ngeke sikhone ukukhuluma ngokuthi bekumele senze identification parade abasola bonkana bobahlanu-ke lapho-ke athi kepha khumbula khona njalo ukuthi ngesikhathi kade ubufakazi bekhuluma kade bekhona ngaphakathi kwaleli khala kwakhumalo-ke athi bona-ke bakhuluma ngegilamkhuba ezimbili-ke namhlanje igebengu ezimbili-ke lapho-ke kepha abakaze bakhulume ngodaba lwey'gebengu ezinhlanu-ke lapho-ke athi udaba lwey'gebengu ezinhlanu luqhamuke uma ngaba bona sebaphakathi eqhenyeni kwicala labo-ke ukukuthi kade bebahlanu uma bebonkana athi kepha kulaba abahlanu-ke kade khona-ke ababili kuphela kade kukhulunywa ngabo-ke ukuthi yibona abangena ngaphakathi kwaloya muzi loyana-ke la kwashona khona-ke umufi athi uma ngabe lokho bekumele ukuthi akwenzeke lapho-ke kusho ukuthi bekuzomele-ke enze i-identification parade-ke yabasolwa ababili laba kade kukhulunywa ngabo-ke ngaphakathi kwey'tatimende zabofakazi kade bekhona ngaphakathi kulela khaya.
Hence, my lord, you see the statements of the 25th of October now before the appearance, because one wanted to establish if such an anti-parade should be conducted or not. In the response of saying they're not certain, I thought then it will take us nowhere, because it would have been different if the response said, yes, we're 100% sure, or mostly certain that we'll be able to do it. Then such would have been conducted, my lord, because we still had 2 days before the first appearance.
Athi-ke lapho-ke kungako kuthatha istatement lesi-ke lapho-ke ngelanga lange-25 October ngomnyaka 2020-ke lapho-ke kusho ukuthi emalangeni amabili-ke ngaphambi kokuthi abasolwa qhamuke ngaphambi kokusenkantolo-ke athi kepha-ke ngemuva kokuthola-ke le nkulumo ethi qhamuke kufakazi lo kade athatha istatement sakhe-ke lapho-ke la kade athina ume phakathi nendawo kusho ukuthi kukhona-ke u-50% wokuthi amathuba ukuthi akhombe-ke bese khona u-50% wamathuba ukuthi angakhombi-ke athi ngemuva kwale nkulumo ayithola kulo fakazi loyo-ke kungako wabona ukuthi asikho isidingo sokuthi benze identification parade.
Now, when I asked you about the identification parade pertaining to the arrest of Mr. Mbata, you mentioned something about Makhumalo. I did not get you. Can you clarify that for me?
Athi-ke becala ukuthi ekhona-ke into angayithulile kahle ngesikhathi lesibukhuluma-ke ngomama ukhumalo omdala mayelana nokuboshwa kukamnumzana uMbatha ukuthi umcacisena kahle noma ukhulume ngokujulile.
No, I was simply saying, my lord, she played a role in identifying Mr. Mbata on that ID parade. That is now back in 2014. That was before our time, my lord. That's all that I was saying in that context, my lord.
Athena into ade ayikhuluma ukuthi wadlala-ke isikhangiso ekhombeni-ke lapho-ke umnumzana-ke uMbatha ngesikhathi lesi kade lapho ka-identification parade athi kwakungumnyaka ka-2014 ngaphambi ukuthi nafike kuleli cala leli.
And before your time as well, do you know if Zandile Khumalo identified somebody as suspect B at that ID parade?
Bathi ngaphambi ukuthi wena kufike ngabe mhlawumbe unalo ulwazi lokuthi uZandi Khumalo khona-ke umuntu owamkhomba-ke lapho-ke kwi-identification parade athi umsolwa wesibili?
No, I don't have a recollection, my lord. Otherwise, I'll have to double check, but I don't have a recollection, my lord.
Athi cha nginaso lesikhumbulo.
With certainty, Brigadier, and I'll allow you to consult the relevant pages or the relevant 329 ID parade procedures that were held in respect of Mr. Mbata. Zandile Khumalo pointed at somebody else at that ID parade.
Athi malana nodaba la-identification parade khona-ke lapho-ke malana nodaba malana nomnumzana-ke uMbatha bathi uZandile Khumalo khona-ke umuntu othizeni awamkhomba.
My lord, I was not there. As I said, that was before my time. They didn't conduct that ID parade. I did not participate in it. I was not even the investigating officer, so I'm not sure how really can I assist, whether she did or did not. I was not there, my lord, and it was before my time.
Athi kade kungaphambi kwesikhathi sayo sokuthi abe khona-ke kuleli cala leli futhi bekangekho bade ngasena-ke umsishi ucala akazi ukuthi yini eyenzeka-ke lapho-ke athi ngekho akhone ukulekelela-ke inkantolo-ke lapho-ke ngoba naye futhi ade angekho-ke lapho ngaphakathi kwe-identification parade yakhona akazi ukuthi yini eyenzeka ngesikhathi kade besenza uhlelo lwe-identification parade.
It may not assist you, Brigadier, but it will assist and a long way, Mr. Ntanzi, because the same Zandile Khumalo came here, sniffles, crocodile tears and all, pointing at Mr. Ntanzi, saying he's suspect B that she saw at the house on the 26th of October 2014.
As a court, please, my lord, we really don't want to interfere with Marlene's friend's cross-examination, but two aspects. Firstly, Brigadier Gininda testified about the additional evidence or the new evidence. Now he's been cross-examined about aspects that he didn't testify about. That is the first thing. But secondly, my lord, being cross-examined about the holding of identification parade regarding the identification of Mr. Mbata. That identification parade form has been handed up as an exhibit. The witnesses have testified, they've been cross-examined on. Now, it's unfair now to put it to Brigadier Gininda that Ms. Zandi Kumalo came here and shed tears when she has already testified and confronted about her own identification. We submit, my lord, that these are aspects that can be argued and should not be put to Brigadier Gininda. So we say, my lord, this firstly is unfair, and secondly, these are aspects that he did not testify about as part of the new evidence, my lord.
To be fair to you, and partially so, because you are the IO, you are privy to the entire contents of that docket. You are the ship, the commander of that ship. But I'll be fair to you, I'll argue that point correctly. But that Zandile came here crying and all sorts of acting here. It did happen, and I'm unapologetic about that. My lord, those are my questions. I'm grateful.
That's
Thank you.
okay. Yes, Mr. Numalo.
That's it. Yeah. Brigadier, my questions relate to the subpoena that you referred to yesterday. You said that subpoena, it was in respect of the request for the video clip that was beamed in this court. Is that correct?
Manje kumele omeleke lapho umnumzana uMaphisa ke uyasho khona ngathi mara nodaba losuphina bokhuluma ngalo ke kade lokhuluma phecelezi ngodaba le video le kade bedlalile la ngaphambi kusenkantolo akusinjalo yini?
That is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo.
You told this court that that subpoena was in terms of the provisions of Section 205 of the Criminal Procedure Act.
Bathi ukhuluma ukuthi le suphina kade ngaphansi kwezomthetho ke section 205 kwezomthetho wala iNingizimu Afrika.
Yes, my lord, but I did also indicate that I did not prepare that subpoena. I am aware of it because I was under cross-examination that such was prepared, it was forwarded to NCA, and I know specifically that the details were in relation to the date of the 27th of October 2014. But I was not the author or the applicant in that, but it was authorized and served, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo kepha ukhumbule khona ngathi nake ake nakade abhalile incwadi leyo yesicelo kwela ngaphansi kwezomthetho ke lapho section 205 usho ukuthi incwadi kade becibhalele ke lapho ke abonondaba nohlami intathile lapho ke NCA athi kepha ke uyazi ukuthi phecelezi nodaba noma inkulumo ethi khona ngaphakathi kwale subpoena leyo kade kuyisicelo sokuthi bathole ke ivideo yegameko kade senzeka ngelanga la nge-27 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014.
Where is that subpoena?
Bathi kuphi ke lo subpoena?
Have you had sight?
Bathi ngakuyifundile yini?
No, I was informed, my lord. I may have cited electronically, but I see Colonel Roth is not here. But it's something that is available, my lord, because it was saved. The video came as a result of that subpoena. So I've had sight of it electronically, my lord.
Athi yebo yena ke akanathi akanayo ikhophi yayo la ke yena ke athi kepha uyibonile la ngaphakathi ke lapha kuma electronical shoot kuza ama email mhlawumbe ku WhatsApp ke lapho ke athi kepha ke yena ke uma angathola Colonel
Roth, yeah.
athi ukhona Colonel Roth uma ngabe beka khona ke mhlawumbe bekazomsiza ekuthizini ke amtshengise yona.
But it can be made available, my lord, because I'm saying I don't have it now, but I know that Colonel Roth and my colleague here, they were dealing with that application. So it's something that we can find. So I don't have it because I didn't deal with that application.
Athi akanayo ke la ke yena njengamanje lapha kwakhe ngoba kusenaki kade senza isicelo so ke kepha uma ngaba inkosi enkantolo ayidinga kathi ngatholakala ke.
I'm raising this question because it was not provided to the defense. I also don't have it. I did not have sight of that subpoena.
athi ummeli ukhuluma ngale ndaba esuphina ngoba bona ke njengabameli akaze bayithola athi futhi naye phecelezi noma yena ke ngokhethekile athi akanayo futhi akazi ngabe yini ebhaliwe phakathi kwale suphina.
I don't know what will be the basis on which they are entitled to a witness subpoena. But as Brigadier mentioned, if they want it, we can make it available to them.
My Lord, we are entitled to that subpoena. It's just as a subpoena in terms of Section 205 of the Act, as when one applies for records, the cell phone records. So when it comes to a video clip, it's a different story now. But I'll proceed with other questions, with the understanding that the subpoena is going to be made available before I complete my cross-examination.
You can make it available.
Yes, thank you. Brigadier, just to set the record straight, in respect of my client, Mr. Mapisa, the contents of the video clip vis-a-vis the statement or the assertions that were made by my colleague, my late colleague, Mr. Mgomezulu, on the 28th of August, 2024, are not relevant in the sense that we have pursued this aspect that he was not at the scene, that is at house number 13511, Kutwanong Street, First Loras.
Athi ke malana nomuntu ke ammele la ngaphambi kokusenkantolo futhi malana nodabule enkulumo ekhulunywa lapha umuntu omzana ngomuzi losilwashona ke athi yena ke umuntu ommele akade angekho ke lapho ke kulomuzi walapha i13511 Kutwano Street kulomuzi wesigameko.
No, I disagree. That's not what the evidence shows. If you move from the confession made by accused number 2, he implicates accused number 4. If you look at the statements that we dealt with, my lord, composed by Constable Zungu, accused number 4 is implicated. If you look, and I know it's a point of contention, if you look at the DA analysis, even though the conclusion, as I've said, my lord, of the DNA excludes him, but the analysis reads him. There are regions of accused number 4 being read into the DNA that was found inside the house. And that corroborates, find the corroboration in the confession of accused number 2, who says he went in with accused number 3. After the first shot was fired, when he ran out, accused number 4 went into the house. So I can't say he was not there. If you take that evidence in totality, my lord, it places him at the crime scene, my lord.
Athi cha akukho njalo ke athi kepha ke uma ngabubuka ke confession ebhaliwe lapho ke confession ke lapho ke iyamfaka phakathi ke lapho ke umsola wesine ke athi futhi statement esenziwa ke lapho umnomzana ke uZungu ke athi futhi naso siyamfaka ngaphakathi kodaba lolu ke lecala leli ke athi futhi ne DNA nayo ke futhi yamfaka bayithola ngaphakathi kwalomuzi wesigameko athi ukhumule khona njalo udaba le confession kunenkulumo la okukhulume khona kumsolo wesibili ke ukuthi ngemuva ukuthi kudutshulwe okokuqala lapho ke ngesikhathi bekaphuma egijima yena kumsolo wesibili ke bathi kula khona ke umnomzana Mapisa noma umsolo wesine ke wangena khona ke egijima ngaphakathi kulamuzi lo yana ke athi futhi ungabe kade senza ke inhlolo zama DNA mhlawumbe ukuhlola ke ngalezi ze DNA bathi lapho ke naye ke uyabandakanyeka noma ukhona phakathi kule ndawo esigameko.
And further, my lord, last on that part, the collaboration is further confirmed in fairness to the other accused, my lord, in that accused one, even in his own confession, says he was standing outside. And indeed, you don't find his DNA inside the house. And that is now independent before our time. It is said in terms of the confession and the investigation that accused 5 was the driver. And indeed, there is no DNA of him. The investigation points to 3 people who may have been inside the house, and that is where the regions, as much as the conclusion is excluding them, but the regions of all 3, this is now 2, 3, and 4, is found, my lord, at the crime scene.
Athi ke lapho ke ukhumule khona njalo udaba le confession kamsolo oqala ke ukuthi yena ke athi kade ame ngaphandle kangenile kuleli khaya leliyana ke wathi futhi wena wakhuluma khona nje athi umsolo wesine ke kade kuyena kumshayelwe emoto futhi umsolo wesine ama DNA wakhe wathi bawathola ngaphakathi kwalela khaya.
Yes, my lord, that's my response.
Brigadier, I don't want us to go back to the evidence that implicates my client because we have dealt with this issue under cross-examination. But there is one thing that is worrying me. You are saying that according to your investigations, my client was outside when the incident was taking place inside the house. Is that what you are saying?
athi kafuthi sishehlele emuva mayelana nodaba lofakazi lebukhona ngapha kade bukhulunyiwe noma asele bukhulunyiwe ngaphambi kwenkosi yenkantolo manje usho ukuthi ngesikhathi kade isigameko leso usho ukuthi iclient lakhe kunomhlamba umsolo amele usho ukuthi kade ngaphandle kulela khaya ngesikhathi kade senzeka isigameko lesi.
I'm saying, my lord, if you look at the confessions of accused number 2 in particular, because that is where accused 3, and I've testified about this, that in the confession of accused number 2, that is where you will find the names of accused 2, 3, and 4 as being the role players in this offense kicks in. And insofar as accused 4 is concerned, to answer the question, is that in that confession, it is said that when the shot was fired, accused 2 ran out, and he says in that confession, my lord, as he ran out, accused number 4 was running into the house. That is contained in the confession. And now I was putting that, my lord, in relation to the DNA that was found in the house, that if you take that confession and you corroborate it with the DNA, the forensic evidence, that seems to find some of the regions, the DNA regions of accused 2, 3, and 4 only. It corroborates, my lord.
Athi ke lapho ke uma ngabe sikhuluma ke mayelana nodaba le confession ke lapho ke enziwa umsolo wesibili ke lapho ke athi umsolo wesibili ku confession yakhe ukhulumile ngaye umsolo wesithathu futhi nomsolo wesine futhi wakhuluma ukuthi kade bona kade futhi wakhuluma nangendlela kade bedlala ngaso isikhangiso ke lapho ke sorry my lord, accused number 4 has raised up. Athi ke lapho ke umsolo wesibili uma ekhuluma kodwa le confession yakhe athi kula khona ke abafaka khona ke futhi ekhuluma nangezikhangiso ade bedlala ke lapho ke athi umsolo wesibili ngesikhathi bekudutshula ukuqala phakathi kwalo muzi leyana ke yena ke umsolo wesibili waphuma egijima kulo muzi futhi ngesikhathi bekaphuma egijima kulo muzi athi kula khona ke umsolo wesine wangena khona ngaphakathi egijima ngesikhathi umsolo wesibili bekaphuma phakathi kulo muzi leyana ke athi futhi uma sobuka futhi ama forensic DNA nawo ke athi khona ke udaba lwama DNA umsola wesine atholakele phakathi kulama DNA.
Brigadier.
Yeah, the client wants to see you.
May I have indulgence to approach you? Thank you. Thank you, my lord, for the court's indulgence. Brigadier, my question is very, very simple. Whatever investigations that you conducted, the question is, and it will remain as this, is there, so the evidence that implicates my client that you conducted, the investigations that you did, place my client, Mr. Mapisa, outside the house. It placed Mr. Mapisa outside the house, whatever investigations that he conducted.
Oh, bathi mina nokusesha ke kokho kwecala nanoma useshe njani ke icala mina wasesha kuphi noma ungaseshi kuphi ke lapho ke athi ngabe umnumzane Mapisa ke nokusesha kokho kwecala mthwa udaba othule kulofakazi ke ngabe bubeka ngaphandle kwalo muzi.
No, it places him both inside and outside. Hence I said, my lord, in the confession it's contained that as accused 2 was going out, running out, accused 4 ran into the house. So that changes the position from being outside to inside the house, my lord. That is why I talk about the corroboration of that aspect.
Athi cha ukhuluma nje nodaba le confession kamsola wesibili ke lapho ke athi uma icaphula kuyona ke usho confession kamsola wesibili umsola wesine ke imbeka ngaphandle bese futhi phinde imfake ngaphakathi kulo muzi loyana ke ngoba athi umsola wesibili ku confession yakhe khona la wakhuluma khona ke ukuthi ngemuva kokuthi kudutshule kokuqala ke lapho ke yena umsola wesibili waphuma ke gijima kulo muzi futhi ngesikhathi bekaphuma gijima kulo muzi ke athi kulawa ngena khona ngaphakathi ke umsola wesibili.
From the witnesses, Brigadier, please try to confine yourself to the questions. Please try. I know it's difficult. for you to do that. But please try to confine yourself to the questions that are being put to you. From the witnesses, Brigadier, that were inside the house, you know them. I need not mention them. Is there any witness who mentions that there was a third suspect who entered the house, except the 2 persons?
Uyasho khona njalo kumele ecela ukuthi uphenduleke umbuzo akubuzile nje kuphela ungakhulumi okunyeke athi kepha mayelana nodaba lofakazi kade bekhona ngaphakathi kulela khaya leliyana ke ngabe kukhona yini la bakhulume khona ke ngomunye ke umsola wesithathu noma isigilamkhuba sesithathu noma isigebengu sesithathu singena ngaphakathi kulela khaya ngesikhathi kade kusenzeka udlame?
My Lord, the answer is no. Let me start with the answer. But you see, the problem, the difficulty I'm having is sometimes saying no may give the wrong impression to the court if you don't put the context. Because this no, my Lord, has reasons. If one looks at the statement which we disclosed to the defense, after the first shot was fired, people ran out. So you cannot now ignore that fact. I mean, ran to different directions in the house. You can't now, we are not talking about a situation where the first shot gets fired, everyone is standing in the same place. The second shot gets fired, everyone is standing in the same place. If that is a position, then it becomes fair to say, no one saw the dead suspect. But when the first shot gets fired and people run to different directions, how could they have seen what happened after the first shot, my Lord? Then it becomes then, I can't now say, the reason they could not see the third suspect, my Lord, is because they ran away after the first shot.
Athi cha kepha ke uma ngabe thi cha lo nto le yobe ipha ke umcabango ongalungile kahle hle indlela eqondile lapho ke athi uma engabe futhi akhulume kahle hle noma mhlawumbe ajobele incazelo yakhe noma asho ngokugcweleke lapho ke athi lana sikhuluma ngicala la kwadujula khona ke lapho ke athi bonkana ubufakazi akunalabo khuluma khona ke ngodaba lesigilamkhuba sesithathu ke lapho ke athi kepha ke udaba abalikhuluma ukuthi ke ngemuva kokuthi kudutshulwe ke lapho ke kokuqala ke lapho ke abantu babaleka bagijima noma bagijimela kumahlangothi ohlukene futhi abakaze babone ukuthi ngabe yini enzeka ngesikhathi bekudutshulwa ke ehlandweni lesibili ke lapho ke kepha athi uma ngabe sikhuluma ke ngento ukuthi mhlawumbe ke lapho ke abofakazi bathi ngesikhathi kade kudutshulwe kokuqala ke bahlala bama endaweni eyodwana futhi nanoma bephinda futhi kudutshulwe kwesibili ke lapho ke futhi abakaze bahambe bahlala bama endaweni eyodwana ke athi bekazovunana nenkulumo eqhamuka kumelike kepha ke mana nodaba noma nenkulumo eyakhulunywa ngabofakazi ukuthi ngesikhathi kade kudutshulwe lapho ke bagijimela kumahlangothi ohlukene manje abakaze babone ukuthi ngabe bekakhona umuntu wesithathu noma abakaze bakubone.
Lastly, my Lord, in the interest of justice and fairness, I cannot also now ignore, because this is evidence, it's open, has been disclosed to the defense. I can't keep it away from my mind knowing that the DNA analysis that was found inside the house links, even though it's not conclusive, some of his regions DNA of accused 4 is being read. How could I not now, how could I stand there, my Lord, and believe that was never in the house? Taking into account the exhibit that I know, taking into account forensic and objective scientific evidence that places part of his DNA inside the house.
Athi futhi okugcina ke lapho kanti khona kodwa lama DNA forensic analysis lapho ke athi phakathi kolama DNA forensic analysis nanoma bengakhulumile ngokugcwele noma bengakushilo ngokugcwele malana no DNA noma malana nama forensic DNA analysis ukuthi khona ke amaphuzu we DNA noma ke izilebo amaphuzu we DNA atholakala ngaphakathi kwalela khaya lena leliya la kwakhumalo ke usho ukuthi amaphuzu we DNA akhona ke amaphuzu kamsola wesini futhi esihloko naye umsolo wesineke bayamfaka ke nomthamo ama DNA iyamfaka ngaphakathi lelakhaya.
So the understanding, Brigadier, that accused number 4, Mr. Mapisa, entered the house, you got it from the inadmissible confession of accused number 2, which could not be used against my client.
Athi ke lapho ke mana nodaba lokuthi umsolo wesine ke naye atholakala kulela khaya lena ke udaba oluthole kwinkulumo wathi confession eyenziwa ke umsolo wesibili ke futhi athumela confession yakho ke leyo ayamukelekile manje ngeke bayisebenzise mayelana nomsolo wesine.
Yes, the presence of his name, my Lord, came in from that confession, and then subsequently investigation was done and other evidence was collected, my Lord. I've made mention, for example, of Constable Zungu, for example.
athi yebo ke khona ke kunjalo kepha ke ngesikhathi ede research ke qala lapho ke khona kufakazi ababuthola ke lapho ke futhi nomunye ubufakazi uConstable Zungu yena bekakhuluma ngodaba lwakhe ke umsolo wesine.
But prior to that, my lord, there was already a statement of Kwabeni. It was already sitting in the docket, who also mentions accused number 4.
Athi futhi ngaphambi kwalokho besikhona ke statement sakamnumzana koKwabeni futhi naye uKwabeni wakhuluma ke lapho ke ngomsolo wesine.
This understanding that you got from the statement, the confession statement of accused number 2, did you follow it up with the witnesses? Did you obtain any statement? Because I'm raising this, none of the witnesses mentioned this in their statement, even in court, when they were led by my learned colleague for the state. There is no evidence directing to the fact that a third suspect entered the house after the two had entered. It's only coming up from you, Brigadier, from your investigation.
Athi ke ummeli yena ke etshela ukuthi ngesikhathi kade ithimba labashushisi belohola ke ubufakazi ke ngemibuzo la ngaphambi kwenkosi yenkantolo ke athi bonkana ubufakazi akukho labakhuluma khona ke ngiphecelezi nodaba lakamsola wesineke noma bafaka ke isigilamkhuba sesithathu esangena ngaphakathi kwalela khaya futhi basho ukuthi mhlamba abantu bathi bakhulume futhi nangesikhangiso sakhe ke lapho ke athi futhi ngaphakathi kwestatement zabufakazi akukho labakhulume khona ke ngodaba lesigilamkhuba sesithathu noma ngesigebengu sesithathu esangena phakathi kwela muziki athi kepha ke lo nkulumo eqhamuka la kuwena ke babu Brigadier Gilinda nanoma kade usenza kushasha ucala lakho ushuthe nalokho akaze ukuthola.
No, my lord. I've indicated that's not correct. I've said it comes from the confessions of accused number 2. And my understanding, those confessions forms part of this court's record. It's written there. If perhaps Advocate Numalo does not recall, we can go to it. It is contained there. He made a confession first to Lieutenant Colonel Rapado and to Mrs. Cronje, the magistrate. It is contained there where accused 4 is being mentioned as running in when he was running out, my lord.
Athi cha akona ke lokho ke kepha akusinto eqhamuka kena ke udaba loqhamuka ku confession eyenziwa ke umnumzana uNtanzi ke lapho ke namhlanje umsolo wesibili ke athi confession yakhe uqala wayenza phambi ko Colonel Rapado bese ke yesibili wayenza phambi ko Mantshi uCrone athi kula khona ke wakhuluma khona ngodaba lwakamsola wesineke ukuthi ngesikhathi ade dutshula ukuqala phakathi kwalela khaya lenakhe yena ke umsolo wesibili waphuma egijima futhi ngesikhathi esibekaphuma egijima ngaso ke kulawa hlangana khona ke nomsola wesineke agijima engena ngaphakathi.
Brigadier, I'm well aware of the contents of those confessions, but the question is, did you follow it up? Did you investigate it to form evidence alluded to the commission of the offense or to support what is being said in that confession? Did you follow it up with the witnesses? Did you obtain statements to confirm what Ntanzi is saying in his confession as evidence alluded to the commission of the offense? Did you do that?
Athi yebo kuyakuzwa ke babu Brigadier Gilinda kepha ke athi futhi uyazi ukuthi yini ebhaliwe phakathi kweconvention ke kepha umuzo kuwukuthi mayelana nenkulumo eyenziwa lapho kumnumzana uNtanzi eyenza ngaphansi kohlelo noma ngaphansi kodaba leconfession ngabe ngemuva ukuthola confession leyo wasala emuva ke ukusesha icala lelo ke mhlawumbe ukusesha nodaba loloke bese wahamba wahlala phansi wakhulumisana nabofakazi bese wabuza ukuthi ngabe mhlawumbe bekakhona ke yini umlisa wesithathu wangena phakathi kwalakhalena ngelanga kusikade kusenzeka ngaso isigameko futhi wabuya wathatha ama statement wabo yini.
No, my lord. So when you collaborate, and I indicated when we dealt with a trial, on this main trial, the collaboration I did. The witnesses, and I'll go back, the witness inside the house indicate that after the first shot was fired, they ran away, my lord. Going back to them to ask what happened after that, my lord, how will they know? It's logic, my lord, that they will not know. Because if you look at the confession of accused 2, he indicates that he was inside the house when the first shot was fired. It's only after the first shot that was fired that he runs out, and simultaneously as he's running out, people were running, it's contained in their statements, different to the different directions or sectors of their house. So they will not have known. But insofar as the collaboration, my lord, you find it in the forensic scientific evidence that I'm speaking about, that I knew of 2 people, now the third person is being mentioned, now the analysis of the scientist picks up the third, some of the third regions, as much as they're not 16, but he picks some of them which connect accused number 4 as being the donor of that DNA. That corroborates, my lord, what is being said in the confession of accused number 2. And it's objective evidence because it's scientific. It's not who said, he said. It's only accused 2 who mentions accused 4 as the person who went in. The next corroboration that you find, my lord, is objective and scientific. That is now the DNA.
Athi-ke ufakazi cha akukho njalo kepha-ke akaze kwenzeke lokho kumele kade akubuza-ke athi kepha-ke uma ngabe siyakhuluma phecelezi ngodaba le-confession eyenziwa-ke umsolo wesibili-ke lapho-ke iyona-ke ifaka phakathi umsolo wesine-ke lapho phakathi kwalakhaya kule ndawo yesigameko lapho-ke ngoba athi khumbula khona nje wathi umsolo wesibili kwi-confession yakhe kula wakhuluma khona-ke ukuthi yena-ke ngesikhathi ade kudutshulwa kuqala-ke lapho-ke yena-ke waphuma egijima futhi ngesikhathi bekaphuma egijima kula khalena-ke bathi kula khona kumsolo wesine wangena ngaphakathi egijima kula muzi yana-ke athi futhi abofakazi bonkana kade bekhona ngaphakathi kule ndawo yesigameko nabo bakhulumile phakathi kwama-statement wabo udaba olukho ukuthi ngesikhathi ade kudutshulwa kuqala-ke lapho-ke bona-ke bagijima futhi ngesikhathi bagijima kumahlangothi ahlukene abanye bagijimela ngaphakathi kula muzi bagijimela khona lapha ngaphakathi ejardini usho ukuthi bagijimela kwindawo ezahlukile thizeni bucasha khona-ke lapho-ke athi lapho-ke khumbula khona nje bese ngesikhathi kudutshwa futhi kwesibili-ke nakhona-ke abantu bavele sogijimele kumahlangothi amaningi ohlukene phakathi kuleya muzi loyana-ke athi futhi ukhumbule khona nje athi khona-ke ama-DNA forensic analysis ade athathiwe lapho-ke athi nanoma ama-DNA forensic analysis lawo 16-ke usho ukuthi engameshi malana nodaba lwakamsola-ke wesine-ke lapho-ke athi kepha khumbula ukuthi uyena-ke idona yamanye-ke amaphuzu olama-DNA analysis key points awu-16-ke lapho-ke ngoba athi khona la kutholakala khona-ke ukuthi la kukhona la kutholakala khona-ke i-DNA test noma DNA analysis kamsola wesine-ke kulama-region awu-16 nanoma engatholakalanga kuwona wonkana.
Brigadier, we now know the roles that were played by the 2 intruders. What role did he play, that is accused number 4, after he had entered inside the house? What role did he play, according to your investigations?
Athi-ke ummeli sesiyazi ukuthi yini-ke isikhangiso salegilamkhuba ezimbili-ke malana noma siyazi udaba lwegilamkhuba ezimbili ukuthi zona-ke zadlala ziphi-ke isikhangiso ngaphakathi kuleya muzi bathi manje-ke mayelana nokusesha kwecala lakho-ke ngabe umsola wesine-ke nakhe wadlala siphi-ke isikhangiso phakathi kuleya muzi?
My lord, all we know is that he went inside the house and no one was able to indicate what happened when he went inside the house because accused 2 had ran away at that time. And people were inside ran into different compartments of the house, my lord. Other than Mr. Twala, who ran out, the 2 Twalas actually, both of them ran out. The other one went over the wall and came back. The other one, long way ran, I'm not so sure where, but those are the 2 that ran out of the house. Others ran to different bedrooms, my lord. So we don't have evidence that indicates what role he played after he went in, my lord, except that he went in.
Athi ngaphandle kokuthi yena-ke wangena ngaphakathi kula muzi wena akasazi ukuthi yini awayenza noma isikhangiso siphi-ke wasenza mhlawumbe indima yini-ke awayidlala ngaphakathi kula muzi wena-ke athi kepha-ke manodaba lwabanumzana ababili-ke bakwathwala-ke ukuthi omunye wabo-ke wagijima ngesikhathi bagijima ephuma kula muzi athi weqake ibonda ngemuva kokuthi eqeke ibonda bese wabuya futhi wabuyela ngaphakathi-ke athi kepha-ke mana nodaba lwakamsola wesine ukuthi ngesikhathi bekakhona phakathi kula muzi-ke wadlala siphi-ke isikhangiso
So you don't know?
You don't know?
We know he went in, my lord, acting in common purpose with accused number 3 who was inside the house at that stage.
In terms of the role that he played, you don't know?
As a court, please, my lord. Once again, we don't want to interfere with my learned friend's cross-examination, but these are matters for argument. Evidence is before court. These are points that he can argue, at the relevant time. Why should this witness, be asked about what the evidence is there against accused number 4? The evidence is on record. These are matters that can be argued. We submit that this is an unfair question to Brigadier Kinina.
So in terms of your investigation, you don't know the role that he played?
athi kumele ngokusasha kwakho ke icala awazi ukuthi umsola wesine wadlala siphi ke isikhangiso.
My Lord, I indicated we know there was a common purpose. The left Basotho was there together. We know that when accused 2 and 3 went inside the house, he was outside. That is the rule. We know that when accused number 2 ran out, he ran in. What we don't know is what did he do when he was with accused number 3 inside the house. But he went in because accused number 3 was still inside the house, and then subsequent to that, there is evidence in the investigation that 3 people were seen running away after that, my Lord, to the direction of the park, 1 carrying a firearm. So we know he went in. We don't have evidence in terms of the specific role he played when he went inside, but we know the role he played up to the time he went inside the house in support of accused number 3 who was inside the house, my Lord.
Athi ke umeli lapho ke ukhumula kwenza ukuthi abantu laba ke abantu abaqhamuka behamba bonkana ngesikhathi kade behamba beshiya indawo yaseBasuthini hostel bashayela bonkana behamba bebonkana bephelele ukuthi na ke wenza siphi isikhangiso ngesikhathi bangena ngaphakathi kuloya muzi ngesikhathi basena nomswala wesithathu ngaphakathi kuloya muzi ke athi cha senalo ke ulwazi lalo daba lolo ke athi kepha khumbula khona ukuthi ngemuva ukuthi dutshule koqala ke lapho ke umswala wesibili owakhuluma ngaphansi kodaba noma ngaphansi kohlelo le-confession yakhe ukuthi na kumswala wesibili ngemuva ukuthi dutshule koqala phakathi kwalo muzi yena ke waphuma ke gijima bese ngesikhathi lesibeka phuma egijima ngaso ke ukuthi umswala wesine kulawa kungena khona ngaphakathi yena ke gijima futhi bonkana abantu ade bekhona ngaphakathi kwelakhaya lena ke bonkana bagijimela kumahlangothi ohlukene ke bese omunye oyedwa walaba bakathwala ke ukuthi wagijima bese ngesikhathi bagijima bese weqake ibonda lapha kulo muzi bese ngemuva kwesikhathi wabuya bela ngaphakathi ke athi futhi omunye ufakazi ubatholakala ukuthi ke abo bonkana abalisa khona ke abalisa abathathu mhlawumbe igila mkhube ezintathu ke ezagijimela kulo hlangothi lwalapha ke ndawo yaseparking.
In terms of your investigations, Brigadier, how many suspects were wearing the hat, which is a subject matter in this case?
Bathi mina nokushesha kwakho icala ngabe mhlambe zingaki igebengu yagqoke isigqoko kuzona ke phecelezi ngodaba licala leli.
One, my Lord.
Athi uyedwa umuntu oyedwa kuphela.
That is where my mind is troubled. Then how do you read DNA results from my client in respect of that hat, which was worn by one suspect?
Athi lokho ke manje okumdida komcabango ukuthi kuzanjani ukuthi ufunde iDNA test noma DNA analysis bese ixhumanise nomswala wesine uma ngabe kade kukhona ke igram khube ezintathu ke kepha kade ayedwa bagqoke isigqoko ke.
My Lord, I'm not a scientist, but my understanding and experience has taught me that you don't have to wear something in order to transfer your DNA. I could be holding this bottle of water. By the time I put it down, my fingerprint and DNA in terms of the sweat is there. So I don't want to speculate, but it will be incorrect to say you actually have to put on the head to transfer your DNA. It can be transferred in various ways. You can bleed, a droplet of blood can go in, but that's not my area of expertise. But to suggest that you have to wear a hat in order for the DNA to be transferred, that's not my understanding. You can transfer it in many ways. You can try to pick it up, and as a result, then you can't pick it up, you touch it, the DNA remains there. Or various methods can transfer DNA, my Lord. Although I'm not a scientist, but I know that, my Lord.
Athena ke na ke scientist futhi ke na ke uchwepheshe osenza ngaphansi kodaba lozo scientist akade akanazo iqiniseko kepha kulwazi malana nolwazi oluncane kanalo ke futhi wenze ke isibonelo lapho kathi uma ngabe bambe ibhodlela lamanzi ke ngizandla zakhe ke lapho ke athi uma iqedwe libeka phansi ibhodlela lamanzi lelo ke athi ama DNA shoot lapho kuma fingerprints wakhe ayasala phakathi kwale bhodlela ke bese abantu uma ngabe senza ke DNA athi futhi bazokuthola ke ukujuluka kwesandla sakhe phakathi kwale bhodlela libalibambile ke uma besenza kama DNA analysis futhi ukukhuluma khona nje athi mara nodaba ke lweyiphumo ze DNA analysis izona ke ezisho ukuthi khona ke DNA samples noma ilokozana amaphuzu athize amancane ke atholakele phakathi kwale DNA ekade ithathiwe lapho ke athi ngenza ukuthi mhlawumbe waphuma ke igazi lapho mhlawumbe wajuluka bese kwachiphiza phansi ke umjuluko wakhe kade asinalo iqiniseko ngokugcweleke ngoba nakathi akasebenzi ngaphansi komkhakha lo wezama scientist.
In terms of people or a person placing him outside the house, you don't have any direct evidence.
bathi mayelana nomuntu ke usuthi kade bembeka ngaphandle noma ngaphakathi kwale ekhaya awunawo ubufakazi ngudaba lolu.
You don't have any direct evidence
bathi
from the
awunabo
witness who
ubufakazi
saw him standing outside.
bathi awuna pardon
You don't have any direct evidence from the witness or persons who saw him standing outside the house.
bathi awunabo yini ufakazi okhithini mhlawumbe oboshaya esikhonkosini ukuthi kade ame ngaphandle mhlawumbe wabonwa noma kade wabonwa abantu bengaphakathi kwela khaya noma ubani.
Malota indicated that the people inside the house, and I'm referring now about people who may have witnessed people, only refer to 2 people who went inside the house, and that is what is contained in their statement. Other role players came up during the course of the investigation, perhaps 2 people or 3 people being seen, but subsequently then the confession of accused number 2 then brings everyone in, corroborated from then. Prior to that, my lord, only, and that is why I said I've testified without going back, my lord, that even us at the beginning, including myself, we thought we were looking into a robbery gone wrong of 2 intruders that went in, because that's what the docket was suggesting. But as the investigation came up, then it played this role. So there was no assertion right from the beginning that someone was waiting outside, standing guard, and this is the description. The only description you find is for suspect A and suspect B, who went inside their house, and then this offense was committed, my lord.
athi cha akukho ke njalo ke kepha ke uma ngabe sawubuka ke confession ade khulunywa lapho ke athi yona ke mbeka phakathi kwendawo esigameko mhlawumbe efaka ngaphakathi kula muntu esigameko lapho ke athi futhi uma sebabuka lapho ke statement kade ithathiwe kabofakazi ade bekhona ebathatha kubofakazi kade bekhona ngaphakathi kulela khalela ukuthi ke lapho ke bona bakhuluma ngegila mkhuba ezimbili noma ke igibengu ezimbili ezangena lapho ke bese babuya futhi ke bakhuluma ngesikhangiso noma ngendlela abakatshangakala ngayo ke labantu labo ke nanoma emuva kepha ke emuva kwesikhathi etholakala khona njalo ngesikhathi ngemuva kwesikhathi uma beqhubeka nophenyo becala leli ke athi kaqhamuka khona ukuthi khona ke abalisa abathathu kade begijima bephuma kulamuzi begijimela ehlangothini lwepark kanti kulapho ke khona ilokozana umsola usine ke lapho ke naye exhumana necala leli ke noma ebandakanyeka kulicala leli.
In as far as accused number 5, Mr. Ntuli, he has instructed me in the presence of his counsel, Advocate Mshololo, to put to you the following questions.
Athi khona ke inkulumo ke eqhamuka kumnumzana ke uNtuli ke omele uAdvocate Mshololo ke futhi athi ubaba uNtuli nawo mhlawumbe umnumzana uNtuli ukhulume naye phambi komnulu wakhe uAdvocate Mshololo bale inkulumo elandelayo.
Firstly, the contents of the video clip which was beamed in this court are not relevant to him because he was not present at the crime scene on the 26th of October 2014.
Athi lapho ke isikhangiso sevideo lidlala ngaphambi kwesenkantolo yena ke akanalo ulwazi layo futhi ayihambisani naye ngoba yakade angekho ke kulowo muzi wesigameko ngelanga la nge-27 zaka-October ngomnyaka 2014.
My lord, the evidence we have places him in the car. He was driving the getaway car. Yes, he was not inside the house according to the evidence we have, but he was the one driving the getaway car, my lord.
Bathi ke lapho mayana ufakazi ababuthulile ukuthi kade akekho ngaphakathi kula muzi wesigameko kepha bekuyena ke umshayeli wemoto ke abagijima ngayo ke ngemuva kwesigameko.
But I agree with him, my lord, insofar as the versions that was given by Advocate Mgomezulu, insofar as Mr. Longwetwala, because I don't recall Advocate Mshololo saying that is the version of accused number 5. It didn't say that Longwetwala shot himself and so forth. So insofar as that version of Advocate Mgomezulu, I don't recall Advocate Mshololo putting that version from accused number 5 point of view, my lord.
Athi mina nofakazi kade bukhulunywa lapho ke athi akakhumbula phecelezi kodwa kade imibuzo kade ibuza lapho umnumzana mhlawumbe inkulumo eqhamuka kosele washona ke umnumzana uNgomezulu athi akakhumbula umama uMshololo ama-Advocate Mshololo ekhuluma phecelezi nodaba lolo ke lelo inkulumo kaMsola wesihlanu ke lapho mhlawumbe usuke ekhuluma nje ngaye ke lapho ke. Sorry my lord, may I please have 5 minutes comfort break?
Okay, what's the time?
11:30, my lord.
Okay, 15 minutes.
continuation, Brigadier, of my cross-examination in respect of Mr. Ntuli, he says that it is not correct that the witness, Senzo Zungu, is related to him. They are from different clans. They have no relationship whatsoever. We started to know him, that is Zungu, here in court for the first time.
Sifiso Zungu.
Yes.
Athi-ke umeli kuyinkulumo eqhamuka lapho-ke kumsolwayo ukuthi yena-ke kahlobene noSifiso Zungu futhi abalamani futhi bahlobene imisho nangey'thakazelo akamazi futhi bekaqala-ke kumbona le nkantolo kuqala ngesikhathi lesi uSifiso Zungu bekalana-ke ethula ubufakazi bakhe.
It's not what I know, my lord, but I'm not sure if I can take it further than that. I've indicated that insofar as what I know in the investigation, accused 5, and Constable Zungu, plus Kwabeni, my lord, there's a relationship there, my lord, they're related.
Athi akusiloko yena-ke akwaziyo lapho-ke kepha mina nodaba-ke lwenkulumo awayithola ngesikhathi sokafisesha iqala leli-ke kuwukuthi umsola wokuqala futhi umsola wesihlanu-ke Constable Zungu futhi noGwabeni kuwukuthi bayihlobo bahlobene.
May I approach Mr. Ntuli, my lord?
Yes,
Please.
sir. What does Gwabeni mean? Is it a place or?
No. It's
Gwabeni.
No. It's basically, my lord, in Zulu they call it Takazelo. So
It's
basically,
Takazelo, okay.
Gwabeni and Zungu.
Okay, fine.
Means
All right. Sorry
it's the
about
same
that.
thing. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
So the Zungus they can call them Kwabeni, like Constable Zungu. He's also Kwabeni. That's my understanding
Okay.
of it, my lord.
It's a praise name.
Yes, correct.
It's a praise name.
Yes.
Yes, Gwaden.
Okay.
So,
Correct, yeah. So they share the same name, even that, Kwabeni and Constable Zungu, my lord.
Okay. Yeah.
he further says, he admits that is accused number 5, Mr. Ntuli, that his mother is indeed Batethelele Zungu.
Athi avuma ukuthi empeleni nangeqiniso uma wakhe-ke igama lakhe-ke ubathethelele bese isibongo sakhe-ke uZungu.
But that did not come from your investigation. It came at a point when his counsel, Advocate Mshololo, was cross-examining Lieutenant Colonel House.
Athi kepha iqhamukile udaba lolu aqhamukile ngesikhathi lesi wena-ke busenza-ke ukusesha-ke ukuphenya icala-ke kepha aqhamuke ngesikhathi lesi-ke umama uMshololo ade abuzakhe imibuzo lapho ku-Lieutenant Colonel House.
My lord, I was not there during the cross-examination of Colonel Hoss, so I don't know. I'm listening. I hear what counsel is saying.
Yeah, fine.
Athi bekangekho-ke ngesikhathi lesi uColonel House bekalethe bekathula ufakazi bakhe-ke lapho-ke kepha-ke uzothula angasho ukuthi alalele nje kuphela.
He further instructs me that the reason for you to say he is related to Senzo Zungu is because you want to pull him or draw him closer to the relationship that you say he had with Constable Senzo Zungu.
Athi-ke indaba ukuthi wena-ke uthi uxhumeneke nomntokozana uConstable Senzo Zungu kukuthi ufuna-ke umsondeze eduze-ke naye-ke uZungu.
No, but that's not true, my lord. I'm simply testifying on what I know and what we uncovered during the course of the investigation. I've got no reason to do that, my lord.
Athi cha siloko yena-ke akwaziyo futhi ukhuluma ngento-ke awayithola ngesikhathi lesi bekasesha icala noma bekaphenya-ke icala.
He further instructs me that he finds credence from his reason that Constable Senzo Zungu did not know him because Constable Senzo Zungu referred to him, that is Mr. Ntuli, as a person from Opisweni, which is not correct. In fact, he's from Osutu in Wanongoma.
athi lapho ke uConstable Zungu ke washo ukuthi yena ke uqhamuka lokuzana ke eofisweni kepha yathina akusela aqhamuka khona ke ngaphansi kwesigodi sase ofisweni ke kepha aqhamuka ngaphansi kwesigodi sase Osuthu ngaphansi kwindawo yakwaNongoma.
My Lord, also there the difficulties, I can't speak on behalf of Constable Zungu. He was here, he testified, and I'm sure he was cross-examined. So I am listening, but I'm not so sure if I can assist with that, my Lord.
Athi eqinisweni atufakazi kade ngekho ke ngesikhathi leso Constable Zungu bekade lithi ufakazi bakhe ke la ngaphambi kusenkantolo ke futhi akazi ukuthi wakhuluma ngani ngesikhathi beka lana ke uZungu.
He further instructs me that Opisweni, which is the area that Constable Senzo Zungu referred to him as he is from that area, is not from Wanongoma, or is not under Wanongoma, it's under Matlabatini, and Osut is under Nongoma. So these are two different areas.
Athi ke futhi le ndawo uConstable Zungu athena ke umsolo osihlanu qhamuka kuyona ke seofisweni ke athi akuyona ke indawo ngaphansi kwesigodi salapho ke elokozana kwaNongoma ke kepha eofisweni iwela ngaphansi kwesigodi salapha ke Mahlabathini ke bese ke uSuthwini yona ke ngaphansi kwendawo ekwaNongoma futhi indawo lezi indawo ezimbili ezahlukene ezingafani.
My Lord, as I said, I can't speak on behalf of Constable Zungu or how he testified when he was here. I was not here, my Lord.
Athi bekathi ngeke akhulumeke kumnumzana uConstable Zungu futhi ngesikhathi leso uConstable Zungu bekalana elethe ufakazi bakhe ke yena manje njengofakazi kade angekho akazi ukuthi akhuluma ngayo noma yini akaze akhulume ngaphambi kwenkantolo.
Thank you, my Lord. I have no further cross-examination. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll meet some other time. Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Uyabonga ke.
Thank you, Advocate.
There's no re-examinations.
No, nothing, my Lord. In any case, this was
For the evidence of
cross-examination arising from new facts.
New facts, okay.
New evidence.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have no examination to the witness.
So what do we do now?
Well, firstly, we have furnished the defense with the Section 205 subpoena pertaining to the ENCA footage. As far as the state is concerned, my Lord, there are only two short witnesses. It's Mr. Bailey that must still testify, and the photographer who took the aerial photos.
Is that Monakedi?
Yes. We indicated that he's on leave. If my colleagues have got no suggestion as to how we should proceed, then we should then start with the recess today.
Okay. All right.
And resume. As I say,
So you're no longer not calling any other witnesses?
No, we not, except for those two short witnesses, my Lord. We are basically done, except for those two short witnesses.
Okay. So when does the recess end? On the 30th?
No. Just want to quickly check. The recess starts on the 21st of July. I'm sorry. The next term.
Okay.
Starts on the 21st of July.
Okay. So we adjourn until then.
Yes, unless if it looks like Advocate Nis wants to say something.
Yeah.
Bathu qedile ke abameli benu futhi babuzeke imibuzo kuba buphakathi yakini indake la ngaphambi kusenkantolo ke bese wabuza ke inkosenkantolo ukuthi manje ngabe siyenza ini ke manje ke athi khona ke abofakazi ababili ekumethi bezekela ngaphambi kusenkantolo lo bazothula kofakazi babo ke ufakazi oqala ke uBailey ushuthi lona qhamuka ngaphansi kwalapho kwale nkampani yonondaba ke le wathi ENCA mara not azokhuluma mara nodaba lo video le kade ikhona ke kalungu ethwala ehamba khona lapha yana ngena la nge 27 bese ke omunye kofakazi ulokhu athula ke isithombe sale ndawo yase Foslorus umonaketi.
Thank you, my lord.
Yes, sir.
I'm not so sure whether this is an opportune time to inquire as to the arrangements, as to how far the arrangements are in respect of the order that are requested from the court, the holding of the inspection in Doko. That's number one. Number two, the issue relating to the AVL records in respect of the other motor vehicles that we requested them on.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
Mr. Cortes, my lord, regarding the letter inquiry about the AVL, I think affidavits have been handed up as to the efforts that were made,
Okay.
and the information or the outcome of those efforts. If I'm not mistaken, that affidavit was handed up as Exhibit XXX. Now, as far as the inspection in loco is concerned, my lord, we have let evidence on aerial photos. There was no cross-examination on that. We really don't see what purpose will the inspection in loco serve if no issue was joined with the aerial photo or aerial photos. I mean, serve the same purpose as an inspection in loco. I mean, we saw the area concerned, but yeah, if the defense still insists on an inspection in loco, we're told that this will be a logistical nightmare and a great security risk, my lord. We would have seen from the aerial photos that there is a hostel across the police station. We informed that basically that hostel need to be evacuated in total, and security measures put in place there at that particular hostel. It will therefore, my lord, be a Herculean task to arrange an inspection in loco. It should be the last resort, my lord. Hence, we presented evidence on aerial photographs.
How many soldiers do you need? Yeah. Okay, let's hear you first.
My lord, when I raised the issue about the photos,
Yeah.
it's really actually a shame that this is now being introduced to the court. Because the state, Mr. Baloyi himself, not actually the state, Mr. Baloyi himself said that those aerial photos are not a substitute to the holding of the inspection in. Now he comes with all this rhetoric that he's coming up with. And that was a court order. So now he says he does not see a reason why inspection in loco must be held because of logistical nightmares. South Africa is not a Mickey Mouse country, my lord. It has got all the facilities. Unless Mr. Baloyi sees South Africa and administration in South Africa is a Mickey Mouse administration. And I will never say that, my lord. There is no reason, I'm still talking.
Yes,
There's no reason why, my lord, there's no reason why there should be an evacuation of the entire hostel. Who said that the whole hostel must be evacuated? Brigadier Kininda himself said the hostel is not in the immediate vicinity of the police station. I'm not inclined to believe what Mr. Baloyi is saying unless there's an affidavit that is presented to court that says that for the holding of the inspection in loco, the whole of the hostel must be evacuated. And why should then only the hostel be evacuated and not all the other areas that are adjacent to that police station where this inspection in loco must be held? I don't want to insult the administration of this country, my lord. The current administration in this fact fought for very fervently for them to be in place. It's a shame when we had something like this from the state itself, that should actually be applauding all the good work that the current government is doing. It's a shame, because that indicates that the holding of the inspection in loco will not succeed because of the fact that there are no resources. And I don't want to insult this government that I love so much.
Brigadier, you are the head of the police. What should we do? How should we organize this inspection in loco?
So, my lord, I'm going to start here, perhaps just to reaffirm what Advocate Baloyi said.
Yeah.
It is true, and if one looks at the aerial photograph, between the police station and the hostel, there's only a street and an open pavement, so there is a hostel there. Secondly, when you do, for this exercise to happen, threat and risk assessment must be indicated, and we briefly embark on that process that I know as much as I won't go into it. And that is really to protect everyone, the accused, the defense, the state, and the court itself. That is done on that purpose, really, not to ridicule anyone, but just to make sure that if that exercise is done, everyone is safe. Now, you cannot embark, in my experience, my lord, you cannot deploy people and say they are safe if you don't control the surroundings. You have to have complete control of the surroundings in order to confirm that the people inside are safe. Because should something go wrong on anyone, be it the states, the court, the prosecution, or the accused, somebody will have to account. So the state advocate is correct in saying it is a tedious exercise. It is not to say it cannot be done. It will come at a huge cost in terms of deployment, resources, and possibly inconvenience of the people around that area. That is the fact. But it can be done. But as he rightfully put it, if it's a last resort, if it has to be done, my lord, it is what it is. But it's not an easy exercise where you go to one area and people will not be inconvenienced, in order to ensure that everyone that will be in there, including the defense, will be safe in terms of going in and out, my lord. So it can be done if it's the last option.
Yeah, well, if it can be done, well, the defense must meet with the state and plan how it should happen. Mr. Mnis, you and
Thank you, madam. I will definitely do
Mr. Ramsepidi, Mr. Mumalo, the doctor, and Mr. Baloyi, with the assistance of the investigating office. We must plan it and tell us when can we come back here. If it's possible to be done before the 21st of July, I'm available. Hello? And so...
As a court pleases,
Yeah.
we will...
Yeah, but yeah, I'll be available.
If it's if it's done before the 21st, we'll
That's
get in
it.
touch with the registrar.
Yeah, quite.
Yes, but we just want to put in record that we reject this unbridled insults of Advocate Mnis with the contempt that it deserves.
Okay.
I can't believe that a court official can sink to that level, my lord.
Yeah.
Manje ke khona ke inkulumo kade umeli bekafisa ukuthi ayitholeke umnomzana advocate Mnisike inkulumo ehambisana phecelezi nodaba lolu le inspection in loco usho ukuthi kumele ukuthi sihambe ke siyobona ke le ndawo kade umsolo oqala ke athi kade bekuyona ngesikhathi bayahlangana namaphoyisa ke lapho ke eFostorus futhi ngesikhathi kade bemshaya ukuthi kade kwindawo enjani ke leyo ke kepha kwaphakama lapho ke uadvocate Baloyi washo ukuthi yena ke sikhona ke izikhangiso zezithombe ekade zikhona la ngaphambi kungusenkantolo kade kujengisiwe kulesikhangiso lesike lapho-ke la ufakazi kade akhuluma mayelana phecelezi nodaba lwey'thombe lezo-ke bese-ke abameli akunalutho abalubuzile lapho-ke bese waphakama khona njalo-ke lapho-ke u-advocate mnisi waphendula washo khona nje athi iy'thombe lezi-ke ngesikhathi ade bey'lethile na-ke abakaze basho ukuthi zireplace noma zishintsha-ke ukuthi sihambe siye lapha-ke endawo inspection lokho-ke bese wachaza izathu zakho u-advocate balokuthi akuphephile kahle ngoba uma ngabe sesiya lapha kumele qala senze isiqiniseko sokuthi bonkana abantu balapho-ke abasolwa inkantolo abashushisi futhi ithimba labameli-ke ukuthi kumele ukuthi baphepheke athi futhi khumbula khona nje ukuthi lapha-ke khona-ke ihostel eliseduze ne-police station shuthi nomgwaqo se-police station lapho-ke kuzomele ukuthi lalo futhi livalwe qala-ke kusho ukuthi wonke umuntu laphayana-ke aphepheke futhi nabantu abahlala kule ndawo lakhona-ke laphayana-ke akumele ukuthi siphazamise udaba lwabo noma udaba lwezinto zabo abazobe bezenza-ke lapho-ke bese inkosi enkantolo kuza kubheka daging uthi yena-ke mhlawumbe uthini-ke lapho-ke uvulo wakhe-ke phecelezi nodaba lolu-ke lokuthi sihambe sikwenza lapho inspection lokho-ke khona njalo-ke washo wathi khona njalo uma ngabe sisiya lapha kuzomele ukuthi senze isiqiniseko kuqala sokuthi uphepha siyaphepha sonkana futhi singaphansi kokhuselo lapho-ke ngoba-ke kunezinto eziningi ezingavuma ukuthi mhlawumbe zenzeke lapho-ke mhlawumbe kwithimba labashushisi noma kwithimba labameli noma kunina-ke banomzana-ke noma kwinkosi enkantolo lathi khona-ke uma ngabe mhlawumbe sekukhona-ke okuthize ongaze kwenzeke kukhona-ke umuntu okuzomela ukuthi futhi aqhamuke bese yena-ke lapho uthatha-ke umsebenzi lokuthi mhlawumbe kumele aphendule ukuthi ngabe lokho kwenzeke kanjani-ke wathi akasho ukuthi lento kumele ukuthi ngenzeke kepha kumele ukuthi yenzeke bese inkosi enkantolo yathi kuzomela ukuthi yenzeke lonto kepha kumele abameli nabashushisi futhi nomseshi wecala bahlale phansi bakhulumisane ukuthi mhlawumbe lokho-ke ukuhlela noma lezo nhlelo lezike bayidingida kanjani-ke bese bahlela kanjani ukuthi siyahamba siye nini-ke lapho-ke.
Yeah, okay. I'm speaking from experience. I once did a case of 13 accused. 13 accused. It's about 12 years, 15 years back. We conducted an inspection in Loco. It was in Jeppe. This robbery took place in Krugersdorp. And But the point is, 5 policemen were killed in that house. And so there was a suggestion that we must have an inspection in Loco, because some of the accused, they claimed that they had gone to see their sangoma there to get medical attention. They were surprised when guys like Baloy and me came in carrying firearms. So we had to get the sangoma, Mama Sangoma. Apparently he was washing these guys. Cleansing them, yeah. So we did organize this thing, an inspection in Loco. It's possible to organize it. So provisionally then we'll postpone to the 21st of July. But if you organize the inspection in Loco with agreement between yourselves, you'll let us know.
Yes, indeed, we'll do so. As indicated, we'll get in touch with the registrar.
Yasho inkosi enkantolo ukuthi lapho kuzomela ukuthi sihlele ekuqaleni lahlehiswa hlehiselwa ilanga lange-21 zakaJulayi uma sesiqala-ke lapho-ke ithemu elisha-ke kepha-ke athi uma ngabe bethola-ke ilanga esingahamba ngalo-ke sibe siya lapha kule ndawo umsuqa lathi washaywa kuyona-ke kumele umshushisi nabameli batshele unobhala wenkantolo ukuthi manje singaya nini-ke lapho-ke.
Okay, then we are adjourned.